All right, here is the review for travel and tourism over chapters 8, 9, 10, and 11. In the book, it's Unit 3, 8 to 11. If it were me, it doesn't matter what page, look it up. It's technically it's after chapter 7.
Are you sure?
If it were me, I would have a piece of paper out, I would take notes, and I would try my best to focus for the entire review. I'm going to look at every question and talk about every single question on the test, okay? All right, so this test consists of a total of 60 questions. Some of them are true and false. Most of them are multiple choice. Fair enough?
Yep.
All right. What?
That's fair.
Okay. Let's begin. What is, and these chapters are about marketing, right? So we're going to be talking a lot about marketing. What are the 4 P's of marketing?
Product, price, promotion. Place.
Put them in order.
Product, price, place, promotion.
Yes. Product, price, place, and promotion. Product, price, place, and promotion. What does place mean? What kinds of things do we talk about when we're talking about place?
The location.
Well, we're talking about the location of the final destination of the product, but we're also talking about the distribution of getting the product from the manufacturing place to the place where it's going to be sold. Okay? Distribution is a very large issue in a lot of businesses, okay? Anyway, so let's see. What is the target market? What is a target market?
Who do you want to sell your product to? Like,
Your primary customers, right? The potential customers for your product. So if I was marketing a cruise, my potential customers would be
old people.
old people generally, but also they have specialty cruises all the time. Like Disney puts on cruises for families and they offer special things for children. Other places put on cruises for, sometimes they have financial cruises. And they bring a bunch of speakers on to talk about financial matters, and then they market it to people interested in investing. So there's lots of different kinds of cruising, and with specialty target markets. All right, what are the utilities? Remember utilities? There are a couple of different kinds of utility. Who can find that in the book? It's early, I think it's chapter 8. There's possession utility, information utility. What?
The concept of conveying the value of products through appropriate and convenient placement, adequate information, and easy exchange.
All right. Does that make any sense to you at all?
No.
Okay, good. All right, what page is that on?
169.
169. You want to review the different kinds of utilities, meaning products need to be useful. That's what it means. And the more useful that a customer sees a product, the more willing they will be to buy it. So you have got to make sure that there's utility in the product. That's what they're talking about. And they talk about what's possession utility? Possession utility is
Cash, credit cards, travel checks, personal checks, and gifts.
right. It's exchanging a product for money, or money for a product. Right. Okay. Let's see. What's the most common way of identifying and segmenting customer groups or target markets? One of the most common ways. What?
Survey.
No. Although it can be used. Survey is a primary research technique as opposed to a secondary. What?
What was the question?
What are the most common ways we use to segment a customer market? Yes. And what do we call that? That's part of demographics. Demographics is the #1 way we use to segment the market. Demographics. Old Navy divides their products into women's, men's, and children. And that's demographically breaking it down by gender or by age, by income level, by size of families. All those things are demographics. Okay? What are psychographics?
Basically, statistics based on the way you think.
Exactly right. It is the cultural environment of a people, of a population. Utah has very interesting psychographics compared to some other states. We are rather unique in a lot of ways. And so when a potential seller of a product is coming to Utah, they want to be aware of our demographics, and they also need to be aware of our psychographics and recognize that there are certain kinds of industries that a large percentage of our population wouldn't want around, for example. Okay? Although that is substantially changing, isn't it? Over the last 15 years, we've seen a lot of things move into Utah that we never had here before, like coffee houses and tattoo parlors and all sorts of other things. We are becoming less peculiar, if you will, than we used to be. So our psychographics are shifting as we're seeing more and more normal people move in. Anyway, let's see. One of the techniques for buying products generally is sampling. Sampling is a good technique, very difficult in the travel industry, because the travel industry, for a large part, is a service industry. And so, generally speaking, just so you know, service industries and service products have a difficult time offering samples. If you're making cookies or pretzels, it's very easy to sample, but you normally don't let people try a cruise to see if they like it, that kind of thing. Okay. Let's see. What is customer loyalty? How important is it? Extremely important. Extremely important. I don't know of one industry that doesn't depend on customer loyalty. And especially in the travel industry, critically important. And that's why you see the Marriott Club, that's why you see the Holland America Cruise Line Club. They love to build those clubs in so that you become a loyal customer. Every time you go to a hotel, if you stay at a Marriott, that's what they love. All right, so what is a price fix or prix fixe? P-R-I-X in French. Prefix? What? Yeah, pre. What is that on a menu, a restaurant menu? Go ahead.
Like we put a bunch of like things together, meals or whatever, so it knows that it's all one price.
Yes. It's pretty common in Europe to have that. You can go in and order the meal that they've prepared, and you get a 4-course meal, and it's all prepared for you, and there's a certain price for it. So if you don't want that, then you can order a la carte, which means off the menu, a la carte, and you can order individual items and stuff. But in a lot of restaurants they put together these set menus. Okay, let's see. What if a cruise line offers you a discount for taking the second or third cruise with them? What do we call that?
Buy one, get one free.
Well, we call that, in the book, it's called special service, offering a special service, which is a discount. A discount is one form of a special service. Okay? What is the break-even price? Yeah, that's the price. That's the price at which the income coming in will equal the expenses. That's break-even. Generally not a good price to sell something at. Okay?
The income price is what?
What?
What'd you say?
Break-even is where income equals expenses. Do cruise lines offer discounts? And if they do, when? Who do they offer discounts to? Who? They offer discounts to repeat customers sometimes, yes. They also sometimes offer discounts to people that book last minute when they're trying to fill up some cabins. And they also offer discounts sometimes to customers who book very early. All those is true. If you book a year ahead of time, you might get a bigger discount because they love to pre-book early. Then they can make better plans. But if you're booking your trip 3 or 4 months ahead of time, you're going to be paying the most that anybody will pay. Make sense? All right. Let's see, what else? What's a lost leader?
product at below cost to make the price it costs to make the product.
Yes, a loss leader is selling a product for less than it cost them. And why would a company do that?
Gain popularity of the product.
Good. It's really generally to get people in the door, right? What's one industry that we see that a lot in?
Walmart.
Grocery stores is the #1 example. When you get their weekly circular, when you get their weekly ad, a number of the things in that weekly ad, they're selling for a loss, just to get you in. Walmart doesn't generally do a loss leaders. They might under certain circumstances, if they're trying to get rid of competition or if they're trying to accomplish something specific, but they don't generally like to do that as a general rule. Okay? What is demand?
Oh,
The need of the product.
It's defined as the quantity of a product that is wanted and with the ability to buy it. They need to have a desire for it and the ability to purchase it. That's badly said, isn't it? But that's what demand is. Demand is drawn as a curve. So the demand for any product is how much will be purchased at every single price along the spectrum. So how many candy bars will be bought for 50 cents? How many candy bars will be bought for $1? How many people would buy a candy bar if it was $1.50? You draw a curve, a line that connects all those, and that is the demand curve. So if a price of the candy bar goes up and less is purchased, is demand, does it change? The answer is no, because the demand for a product is the entire curve. So anyway, does that make sense? So if I'm selling 1,000 candy bars at 75 cents, and I raise the price to $1, and I'm only selling 700 candy bars, the demand for the product has not changed. That is the demand. It's 700 at $1 and 1,000 at 75 cents. If something happens and all of a sudden I'm now selling 2,000 candy bars for 75 cents instead of 1,000, now you can say that the demand has shifted for candy bars. Okay? Anyway, let's see what else there is here.
Screwed up a bit on the
What?
math. You screwed up a bit on the math. You raise it, lower it to 25%. You lower the price 25 cents, and then you sell 750 candy bars, then it's still equal.
I never intended to have the numbers equal. The numbers don't have to equal.
No, I mean the demand.
No, the demand doesn't change no matter if the numbers equal or not. That's the point. And what you would do is you would price the product at the highest net income for yourself. So you might raise the price to $1 if you're going to sell 700 of them. That's $700, because you might make more profit selling $700 worth of candy bars at $100. Anyway. All right. Let's see. I think that's it. Tell me about research. What's primary research and secondary research? Go.
So primary research is, I think it's what you had before you started. Like,
First-hand experience.
yeah, first time hand experience.
Right. Primary research is research you do yourself.
Yep.
That's surveys and other kinds of research, right? Observational research, survey research, testing research. What's secondary research?
Research that somebody else does.
Some research that somebody else has done. There's a lot of research in the restaurant, hotel business already been done that they can, and you can access that research either on the internet or by buying it maybe. And that's what's the advantage of secondary research?
You already have it.
Takes
Less
less
time
time.
consuming.
It's much less time consuming and it's much cheaper to collect usually because it's already been done. Primary research is very expensive and time consuming, but it's also what? What's the advantage of primary research?
Better data.
The data is exactly what you want. If you structure the research properly, you're getting exactly the information you need. Sometimes it's hard to take secondary research and apply it to your specific situation. Okay? What is the SRI? What is that? And how does it classify Americans? Who can find it in the book? SRI. It's a way of classifying people. First one to find the page wins. What are the two major ways that you do primary research? Two major ways. Either surveys or observation. The main thing, what's the main thing about observation? Yeah, but the real concern is they can't know you're watching. If somebody knows you're watching them, they change their behavior. And so your observation is flawed. So the key to observation is being able to watch the situation without being detected. If you want to observe gorillas in the wild, they can't see you. Otherwise, they're going to act differently. Make sense? Sure. All right. Anybody who found the SRI? You could also look it up in the index. And then it would tell you what page it's on. That's just a thought. Okay, anyway. All right. What's the hotel and motels? What industry is hotel and motels in? What? Nope.
Housing and lodging.
Nope.
Hospitality.
Hospitality industry is correct. Very good. All right.
There's no SIR.
SRI.
There's no SRI either.
There isn't? Well, it's in one of the chapters. It characterizes or classifies people into different kinds of buying patterns. It's a way of breaking the population down into segments that they can break it in. There's a chart at the bottom of one of the pages in the chapter.
That was like the last.
What?
That was like the last chapter before.
Yeah, I think it was in maybe chapter 10. Is that what you think? Feels about right. I don't know. All right, let's see. What's the marketing environment mean? What does that deal with? Marketing environment. Wouldn't it be fun just to take the test today?
No.
I
Mark?
found it.
What page is it on?
187.
187?
Classifying Americans. The EALS segmentation system developed by SRI International classifies people into 8 lifestyle sectors.
All right, how many?
8.
So the SRI method of breaking the population up, they break them up into 8 different segments based on buying characteristics. Okay? And it's on page 187. You might want to review that. There's a couple of questions on that. Let's see. What drives the marketing concept in a company? What do you think drives it? Any ideas? Kaislyn, did you have an idea? It would be the consumer. Ultimately, whether you believe it or not, consumers run the show. They are in charge. They inform the manufacturer about their products and about their willingness to buy them. We are in control. We really are. Because we very often refuse to buy something. And we're sending a message to the manufacturer that we are not willing to pay for that, for whatever reason. So consumers are the driving force behind the marketing program or the marketing concept, okay? Marketing environment refers to all the internal and the external factors that affect. Remember, we had internal factors like things happening in the company, external factors meaning weather, political unrest, rioting in the streets, whatever might be happening, economy, recessions, all that kind of, those are all external factors. But they affect the marketing environment. Okay? All right. Let's see. Once a business, well, let me put it this way. Once a company decides to take on a new product and design a new product and develop it, they have to answer the 4 Ps, don't they? They have to design the product, they have to determine the best price, they have to decide how to place the product in the marketplace, how to distribute it, and they have to design a marketing or a promotional program to effectively sell the product. So all 4 Ps get involved in all products, okay? Let's see. And remember, what are the things that really affect marketing decisions? Customers, consumers, demographics.
Customer's always right.
That's what they say. I can tell you sometimes they're not, but anyway, that's what they say. Demographics, politics, economics, all of those things heavily influence the marketing decisions. What is cultural tourism? What does it focus on? Cultural tourism.
Experiencing another way of life.
Okay? That's an interesting way to say it. Good. Another way to say cultural is tourism that deals with art, deals with history, deals with heritage, all those kinds of things. If you go on a history tour, you're dealing in a cultural trip. Okay? Let's see. When you set goals for your company and your business, what do those goals have to be? What do you have to make sure those goals have?
Specific.
They have to be what?
Specific.
They have to be specific, they have to be clear, they have to be reasonable, and they have to be measurable. Very important. A goal that you cannot measure isn't a very good goal. So if you want to set a goal for your schoolwork, you shouldn't say, I want to be better. No, that's not good enough. What you want to say is, I want to get a 3.4 GPA. And then you can even get more specific than that. So anyway, let's see.
I want to get an A on my travel and tourism test.
There you go. So what are you going to do to accomplish that goal?
Study.
What does the marketing process begin with? What does it begin with? What's the first step of the marketing process?
The introduction.
Before that. This actually takes place before you introduce your product. The first step.
Identifying a problem.
Good. Okay. Another way to say that. That's right. But another way to say it is understanding what product consumers want or need, which is understanding a problem or recognizing a problem.
I was so gonna say that.
Were you?
Yeah, I didn't want to.
All right. Well, congratulations. You almost said it. All right. What is a mission statement? What is the purpose of a mission statement? Shh. What is the purpose of a mission statement? A mission statement defines the purpose of the company, why it exists. Yes? Pathetic. All right. Does that make sense? The purpose of a mission statement is to define the business's goals or purpose or reason to exist. All right. And tell me what internal factors affect marketing environment. What kind of internal factors? This is just in the last chapter. In fact, I think it's just the last. Put your phone away. Yeah, don't want to see it again. If you look in the last couple of pages of the last chapter, you'll find internal and external factors that affect the marketing environment. What are the internal factors then? Like?
I just put this out in a packet.
I know you did. So what? You don't remember it. Wow. What page is it on?
230.
230. Page 230. What are they exactly?
The elasticity of demand. Elasticity of demand, I guess. Competition. The economy.
Those are external factors. I'm looking for internal factors.
Internal factors.
Objectives of the marketing plan. What else?
Marketing mix. The objectives.
Good. What do you got?
I was going to say.
Oh, okay.
Goals.
Also the accounting, public relations, all the operations, everything that's happening in the business.
Employment and technology level.
That's true too. Good. All right, very good. All right, let's see. Let's move on. Let's see. How do marketers look or use demographics? How do they use them? Well, what they do is they look for behaviors, patterns of behavior. How do wealthy people act? What do wealthy people spend money on? How do they travel? They're looking for patterns, and then they can market their product to meet those patterns. Make sense? That's how they use demographics. Okay. Let's see. What's behavioristics? Behavioristics is in the same section as psychographics and demographics. Behavioristics are statistics about consumers' knowledge and attitude. Very similar to psychographics.
Could you repeat that?
I'll try. Behavioristics is the use of statistics about people's knowledge and attitude and how they respond or use products. Okay? Now, what's the VALS system? VALS. What page is that on?
187.
Is that the same one? 187?
Same as this.
So how are people broken down?
Innovators and survivors.
Innovators and survivors. Is that right? All right. There's 2 or 3 questions about the VALS system. You might want to read 187 a little bit. Talk about what are makers and what are survivors and what are, that kind of thing. What is branding? What is branding for? What's another word for branding?
Positioning.
Positioning. Correct. Positioning is the creation of what? It creates an image
Of the product.
of the product or the company. That's correct. And it's rather important. Tell me what competitive advantages mean. Competitive advantage. What?
What puts you ahead of other competitors?
Right, in the hotel business, give me some examples of competitive advantage.
Being a 5-star hotel compared to a 3-star hotel.
What makes you a 5-star hotel versus a 3-star hotel?
Having Wi-Fi compared to.
Okay, having Wi-Fi or having concierge service or upscale amenities or all that kind of stuff, right? Okay, very good. Let's see. Why does any business do research? What's the purpose of research? To gain knowledge about what?
The Marxists.
Sometimes, but the primary research purpose is to gain knowledge about your potential customer. It could be about competitors, though. But it's mostly about your customer or the consumer. Let's see. The most accurate picture of your potential consumer would be gathered by what kind of research? The most accurate. Primary research would be more accurate than secondary research. You might read research about hotels or restaurants in the United States, but if you really want to know how it's going to work in Utah County, you should probably do research in Utah County specifically. We might be a little different than the national averages. Okay? Let's see. In order to do primary research, how big of a group do you generally need to survey, for example? You might find it interesting. It's kind of shocking to me sometimes.
About 1,000.
It depend. The answer is it depends on what you're trying to find. But many times the sample group, we call them sample groups, are relatively small. You would think if you want to have a poll, a survey like who's leading the Republican race right now, you might think they have to interview thousands and thousands of people. That's not true. According to statistical people, they might only interview 300 people, and then they draw these conclusions about hundreds of thousands or millions of people based on 300 or 400. It's kind of amazing. It's kind of shocking how small sometimes the sample sizes are. Anyway, let's see. Reports published by industries would generally be considered what kind of research? Secondary research, right? Secondary research generally. Let's see. What do we call when a company remembers your birthday?
Relationships.
Well, yeah, you could call it that, but in the book they call it personalization. And want to personalize it. That's why they don't really like to send you something and say, dear customer, or dear potential. They would much rather have your name on there. You feel like you are important to them. And you are, only as so much as how much dollars you have. Let's see if there's anything else on this page. No, I don't think so. Okay, we're moving along. Why is it important? Why is customer loyalty important? Why is it important to make sure that once you have a customer come in, that you retain them as a customer? Why is that so important?
Repeat business.
What are you going to say?
So that way you have like a customer that's here for sure all the time, so that way you have money.
Okay.
established.
Yeah, you have repeat business, and it's very expensive. In fact, they do a lot of studies to show how much it costs them to get a new customer. In some businesses, it costs them $153 for every customer that buys something, and they know that. And so, but if they have a customer, like if you buy vitamins on a website one time, you will get their weekly email for the rest of your life, unless you and I know this for a fact. So I know that because I'm being besieged by, in fact, I'm getting probably 3 or 4 emails from this one vitamin company because they want me to, we want you back. We want, specials all the time. I mean, so it's like constant. You've got to physically kick them out and unsubscribe to them in order to get rid of them. But that's important to them. They want repeat customers because it reduces their marketing costs substantially. Okay? What's a frequent flyer program? What does that do? What are the examples of it? Yeah, this is a weird question. Financial benefits to customers is the answer. Frequent flyer programs and hotel rewards, where they give discounts to repeat. It's a financial incentive to customers. What do we call a parking garage? It's a product. What kind of product is it? Remember, in one of the chapters, we broke products into a couple of different kinds of product. The core product, and then there were...
Secondary.
And then what was it called? It wasn't called secondary.
Kane,
Yes?
Caitlin Pierce to the front office for a minute.
Okay. It's called a facilitating product. It's a facilitating product. A parking garage facilitates.
Okay.
Yes?
I have. Come to the counseling office for a minute, please.
I didn't hear who it was.
Galen, Gay.
Oh, okay. All right, so facilitating products help the core products. A hotel that has no parking will never work. Can you imagine the Energy Solutions Arena without adequate parking? People would not go to a jazz game. So parking is a facilitating product to the core product of the business. Okay, that makes sense, doesn't it? All right, let's see. The key to success for businesses are to give customers what they expect, or to exceed their expectations is even better. But if you will give customers what they expect, then they will be satisfied. If you think about a restaurant, you go in and order a restaurant. If you get, some restaurants, they offer large portions. Other restaurants offer very small portions. If you walk away from a $50 per person restaurant and you're still very hungry because the size of the meal was, tiny, then you're probably not going to be very satisfied, are you? Other restaurants go the other direction, and they want everyone taking home doggy bags. I don't know. So anyway, but you need to meet their expectations. So the key to success in business is to know their expectations of your customers. Okay. All right. Let's see. Who makes company pricing decisions? Who makes them? Marketers do. But which marketers? You're right, pricing is a marketing component, but it's usually the senior management staff of the company that make pricing decisions. It's usually not left to a mid-level or a lower level manager. That's normally made up in the big boardroom, okay? Let's see. Well, this is weird. Where is the Dubai Festival City?
The United Arab Emirates
Where is that?
in Dubai.
Where is Dubai? What part of the world? The Dubai Festival City is the world's largest real estate complex. What?
Middle East.
No, it's in the Persian Gulf. That's where it is. And Middle East, yeah, I mean, it is Middle East, but it's specifically it's the Persian Gulf, okay? I don't know where that question comes from. Oh, 213 talks about Dubai Festival City. Fascinating, thank you. All right, let's see. What are the 4 phases of the product life cycle?
Oh, so I know it's one.
I say again?
Introduction.
Introduction?
Growth. Maturity, decline.
Introduction.
Well, I didn't hear the second one.
I said growth.
Oh, okay. Introduction, growth. Nick, be quiet, please. Introduction, growth, maturity, and decline. Okay? Does pricing get affected depending on what phase of the product life cycle you're in? Yes. What's the typical pricing model in the introduction phase? Say again? Well, there are 2, if you remember. There are 2. One is to price it pretty expensive, and why do we do that? What's that called? Anybody remember?
Cover the costs.
It's called skimming the cream. There are some products where you price it high at the introduction because you know people will pay for any price to get the newest and best. Apple does this all the time when they introduce a new product. That's called skimming the cream. And there is a component of that, you're right, Jordan, that they try to recover a lot of their research costs and their starting up costs. The other option for introduction is penetration pricing, where they price it fairly low in order to try to gain market share. They want to get customers, so they put a low price on. Okay? All right. I think, let me see. When products mature, what normally happens to the price?
Slow down.
We normally have to drop it a little bit in order to maintain sales. I mean, now you can get the older version of iPhones you can get for free now. Whereas when they first came out, you were paying $600 for them. Now they're free. I mean, you can't get better than free. Well, I guess they could pay you to take them, but that's not going to happen.
You get the 4S better than 3.
Well, the 4S you have to pay for.
You got the 3.
But you can get the iPhone 3 for free, or the 4 for 99 bucks, right?
The
So-
4 for 99 or the 4S for 200.
Thank you very much.
Do you have to get like the 2-year contract though?
Yes. Otherwise, they're 400, 500, 600. All right, let's see. This is a dumb question. Who decides whether or not exchanging money for a product is worth it?
For you, yourself.
Shh. Yeah, consumers do. Every day you're making decisions about what's worth it and what's not worth it in terms of your money. And you're the one who ultimately decides what you're going to spend your money on. Okay? Let's see. Discounting, there's a couple of questions in here about discounting. Beware, why do they discount and what kind of discounts are available? Remember, you can discount volume purchases, or you can discount buying off-season. When you go to a resort off-season, you're going to pay a lot less. Or if you book early, there's a lot of ways to discount, and everybody's looking for a good deal all the time. What does elasticity mean? Elasticity. Don't fade on me, people. The last 10 questions of the test are just as important as the first 10. Go.
Isn't it affected by the pricing changes?
Yes. But what is it? An elastic product, is it affected a lot or a little? It's affected a lot. It has what we call a big price effect. When you change the price a little bit of an elastic product, it changes a lot how much is purchased. Elasticity really means the ability to change. That's what elasticity means, the ability to change. And so when you adjust the price of an elastic product, it very heavily affects how much is purchased. Coke and Pepsi, good example. If they raise Coke 10 cents, they will lose a lot of business if Pepsi stays at the same price. Because a lot of people will switch from Coke to Pepsi products. Not everybody, but a lot of people will. On the other hand, if Coke and Pepsi raise their price at the same time, then I don't think you'd see a major drop in the purchase of soft drinks, because too many people are addicted to soft drinks and they would pay. But if one company raises it and the other one doesn't, then you'd see a major migration to the other product. Okay? What's bundle pricing?
Selling a lot of things in a package or a bundle deal.
Yeah, bundle pricing is putting together a number of products and selling them as a package. Happy Meal is a good example of bundle pricing. If you factored it out and you added it up, you would find out that a Happy Meal does not save you any money. But they sell an awful lot of more French fries because they bundle it into a package called a Happy Meal. What a beautiful marketing plan that is. You cannot get better than having something you sell and call a Happy Meal. It's just perfect marketing. So congratulations to McDonald's. What? Yeah. It's perfect. You cannot come up with a better named product than the Happy Meal.
And you get a toy.
Mighty Kids Meal.
Does it make you
Kids
happy?
Meal doesn't mean it's nowhere near as good. What?
The Mighty Kids Meal.
The Mighty Kids Meal. Keep working at it, Nick. All right. If the demand for a product is high, what do you expect the price to be? High. Like some of you right now. High. Okay, yeah. If the demand for a product goes up, so generally will the price. That's just the nature of it. Because there's more demand vying for the same supply. Now, what you're also going to find out, which we don't talk about in here much, is if the price of a product goes up, so does the supply of it. More people will jump in and produce the product. And then we have a seesaw going. If there's too much supply, then the price drops. Anyway, but that's called economics, if you're interested. What's yield management? How would you define yield management?
Selling products at various prices.
Pricing.
For what reason?
Many reasons.
That was that's junk. But that first thing you said was perfect. Selling a product for different prices in order to maximize income or profit. That is yield management. That's why at the last minute they might rent a room to you at Marriott for less money because they just want to rent it for anything. Any amount of money they get, within reason, will help their bottom line. As long as they can cover their cost of, what?
Not like $5 though.
No, well, that won't cover their cost of cleaning it. So they're not going to rent it for less than it costs to clean it. Then they lose money. All right. What do we call the most popular season at a vacation location? What do we call it? High season.
Shoulder.
And then we have, what are shoulders?
The low season. Between.
No, we have,
That's in between.
right, we have high seasons and low seasons, and then we have those times in between we call shoulders. Yeah, we call them shoulder season. There are some places, some locations that are blessed with a comparative advantage, if you will, where they are never in low season. They're always high season. Give me a couple examples of those.
Hawaii.
Hawaii is always in high season. Some parts of California, maybe. Not even that, really. Even the beach in Southern California, there's a low season. The winter time is, you can rent houses on the beach much cheaper in the winter than in the summer. Bahamas, Caribbean, Cancun, a lot of places along the equator where the weather doesn't change much, those are They have the blessing of having high season all year long. And that, my young friends, is the entire review for the test. Remember, don't think you're ready for it right now. You want to look through those 4 chapters. You want to concentrate on vocabulary words and terminology. And also, if you'd like to, you can go on my website, canesworld.org, and you can listen to the review, the audio review there. And between all those different things, you should be totally prepared for the test and do well. Okay?
All right.